Welcome to Chasing Chickens, episode 3. Today I wanted to start off with a story. So when I was at work, when I used to work on the hobby farm, we would have lunch every single day, all of us together up in a loft. And it was so fun. We all loved coming to lunch, we were able to share what we were eating and show each other new recipes. And lunch was supposed to be 30 minutes on the clock. And sometimes my supervisor would join us for lunch and sometimes she wouldn't. It just kind of depended on the week. But I remember one week in particular where we had the 30-minute lunch, but since my supervisor wasn't there, a lot of us just kept eating and chatting, and the time kind of slipped by us, and we didn't even realize what time it was. Soon enough, it had been an hour of lunchtime, and we were all still chatting there. And so then we went to work. We realized we should get back to work, and a lot of my coworkers clocked out for the day and didn't do anything different. But I knew that I had taken a long lunch, and so I decided to stay 30 minutes extra just to make up for that lunch that I had had a longer lunch for. And I remember going home and just feeling, normal, not thinking too much about it. But as the weeks passed, it felt like more and more of my coworkers kept doing a longer lunch and just cutting their hours short at the end of the day instead of staying for that additional 30 minutes to make up for that lunchtime they had. And so it may seem like a small thing, but our standards are things that stick with us for a long time, and those habits that we implement will bleed over. And so just being willing to do the right thing for the right reasons and not just influencing yourself, but if I were to have taken it a step further, I would have encouraged my coworkers to do the same thing that I had done. And so this is where I heard from a guest lecturer recently in one of my classes. They shared that when you're no longer yourself at work, that's an ethical sign, not a weakness. And I really liked this quote because it shows that, maybe taking shorter lunches instead of longer lunches and staying longer at work, maybe that just seems like a small detail, but eventually that's going to bleed into the work you're doing as well. Maybe you'll take more shorter breaks more frequently, and you're going to keep extending your lunchtime. And so it's really important to make sure that no matter what kind of watch you're under, whether your supervisor is there or not, it's really important to be willing to do the right thing and also encourage those